All right, welcome back to another episode of Monolog. My name is Marcus, and I'm your host for this evening. We got the usual suspects, Julio, Jose, and Rick. What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
We also have a very special guest today, Michael O'Brien. How's it going, Michael?
I'm doing great, Marcus. Thanks for having me here today.
Awesome. Michael is a very successful real estate agent in the Bay Area, and we're going to go through just a couple of questions, kind of pick his brain, get some advice about the real estate field and whatnot. So let's go ahead and just hop into that real quick. Julio, you want to ask him the first question?
I do, but first, I promised Michael we'd let him go over his background a little bit.
Oh, shit.
So if you don't mind.
My bad.
That's all good. Yeah, no, it's fantastic, guys. I'll give you just a quick background. Some of my accolades, if you will. When I was 19 years old, I won the Mr. Teenage America contest, tall winner. Again, 1986. That gives you an idea how old I am. Had a pretty successful education, and then I got right into real estate, and I had a bit of a mental breakdown of all things. Had too much stress, too much pressure on me, and then fought through it. And by the age of 31, I had become a millionaire, all because of real estate. So I'm excited about sharing some questions or some information about real estate, because that's what I have done for the last 31 years. So back to you, Julio. If you want to ask away, go for it.
Yeah, and Michael, that's amazing.
Yeah, we
At
really
31 to
appreciate
be a
you
millionaire.
for coming on the show.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes, for sure.
I feel like we're going to learn a lot from you here. So, what's something you would give as far as advice to like first-time home buyers that are out especially in the current market looking to buy a home?
Right, isn't that crazy? The current market literally is completely insanity. I know that just even the friends that I've had that have been around the business 30, 40 years, it's remarkable. I mean, houses that were selling for $500,000 that I had sold 25 years ago for $150,000 are now $900,000.
Oh my God.
The average person can't buy their own home. That's the real statistic. We have something in the marketplace called the affordability index, and that's something that very astute investors pay close attention to. And when that number becomes very low, in other words, when the affordability is out of range and only 14% of the population can afford to buy a median price home, we got problems. That number's probably closer to 30% right now. It's normally sits around 50, 60%. So in other words, you should be able to afford a house.
Right.
When the market crashed in 2005, 2006, that's exactly where it was at. It was 14% in the Bay Area overall, and it was just out of hand. So yeah, that's a start.
Wow.
I think to maybe give you a little bit of insight as to the question or the answer to that. If I'm really giving my best buyer the best advice, I would probably tell them to be very patient and maybe hang out for a bit and see where we go from here. Just based on some crazy factors that are happening with prices that are literally out of control. The one bit of advice I probably would share though, Julio, is, and this is something I didn't do myself early on, and I wish I had. I did later, but a little bit later. And that is that not to be afraid to buy out of state. Even if you live here, buy a rental, buy real estate as early as you possibly can. Buy it today if you can do it. But there's houses and there's condos and there's places you can buy all over the country for 50 grand, for 80 grand, for 150 grand. I see Marcus raising his hand. He probably bought out in Texas. If I'm not, maybe not, but and that's an amazing place to buy. Buy somewhere else. Don't buy here in the Bay Area.
That's good advice. What would you tell somebody who's already, say, been paying off a home, they've built up equity, and they're close to paying off their home? Let's say they have like $100,000 left on a $300,000 mortgage after 20 years of a 30-year loan. Would you advise them to go and sell now while the prices are inflated, or would you tell them as well to be patient?
It's a good question. And the reason I say it's a good question is because everybody has a different situation where they're at in life. I mean, if you're just having kids and this is the school area that you want them to go to, let's say they're 8, 10, 12 years old and they're going to go to high school and you're living in a nice area with a good high school, then you might want to consider that life is not all about money. I know we all tend to, have our lives are driven by money, but the reality is that we got to live, we got to be somewhere.
Right.
And so if you don't have a family, it's a whole lot easier to rent and, sell your house out and take that approach. And I'm not opposed to that, Julio. I think it's a good idea. The market is so absolutely obscene that if you can get out of your house and you can sell it a premium dollar, I think there's a good chance that we'll see some settling back, maybe 10, 15%. We will never see the 50% drop, I don't think, in all of our lifetime. That was a historic event that had a lot of moving parts. But we could see 25%. In 1991, when I first got into real estate, we had seen about a 20 to 25% correction. I don't see why we wouldn't see that again.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I was like probably 3 years old when that happened, so I wouldn't have a clue. But thank you for letting us know that.
Yeah,
I was one.
Sure. And my next question: what are some of the hidden costs when it comes to buying a home that people don't expect?
I think some of the hidden costs of buying real estate. I mean, nowadays, we live in an environment. Probably the last 30 years, I should say, or 25 in real estate, is we refer to real estate as disclosure. So everybody's got to disclose, especially after, again, the 2008 mortgage crisis. Everything is disclosed. So there's not really hidden cost. There is one particular cost that does get missed, and most agents are probably they're just not schooled in it, or they forget about it. So when somebody buys a home, and they buy that house from somebody that maybe bought it 30 years ago, and the value of that home when they bought it was, let's just make up a number and say it was $100,000. Well, the tax base on that $100,000 is $1,000 a year. That's what they pay in taxes. Now that goes up 2% a year every year. So, but after 20 years or so, it's still minimal. They might be up to $2,000, in taxes, or maybe even $3,000. But now here you come and buy that house for $800,000. Here's where it gets tricky. It's very detailed. But now your taxes are $8,000, right? Simple math, about 1%, $8,000. The problem is, here's the trick. When you move into that house, everything that we did, and we set all that math up to have you move into that house, you start paying taxes on the day that house closes escrow. But what you're not really aware of is that by the time the government gets the house reassessed, they've been charging you less money because they're still going on the old assessment of what the old guy was paying. And so they're only receiving the $1,000, $2,000. If it takes a year for them to finally catch up and do it, and that's usually very, very typical, very commonplace for the government to be a little late to the show, if you will. Oftentimes buyers will have to pay their $8,000, and then they get another supplemental bill, is what we refer to it as. And that comes in and $6,000 more. And people are like, what the heck? I can barely afford the $8,000. Now I got another supplemental tax bill that's paying for the difference. It's a little bit hard to understand. Takes probably almost a whole episode to share.
That's definitely good to know. I had no clue about that.
Is there a way to actually prevent that from happening? Like get them to acknowledge it early on, so that way you don't end up having to pay that additional charge?
Excellent question. And the answer is you cannot, because the title company is who would be receiving that money. And so they base it on whatever the county records show when they make that transaction, or the transition from a seller to now a new owner of that property through what we refer to as the close of escrow. So it can't be fixed. It's simply a typical document. There is one other example that I would tell you that is a hidden cost, and I hadn't thought about it until Marcus asked me this question. It's only happened to me one time in my career, and I do not know of another real estate agent that has even experienced this. So if you have an older community of listeners to this program, this is pretty amazing. I had an 82-year-old fellow that I helped him sell his home in Concord, California, and he paid off the mortgage about 30 years before I had met with him. And so he had owned the house for about 60 years, I think it was, 55, 60 years, but he paid it off 30 years ago. Well, what happened was, when we went to the title company to make sure everything was coming into the title company, the buyer pays all their fees, the seller pays for all their fees. Well, when they did a title search, and a title search is to make sure that the title is free of any encumbrances, liens, workers liens, we call them mechanics liens, anything that's out there. They want to make sure it's all clean. Well, there was still a note on the property. Now, here's the thing: the note said it was paid off at zero, but it didn't. They didn't send, and I'm going to say who. They didn't send the seller, and that's the lender did not send the seller this document. It's called the conveyance. And every time when you refinance a home, when somebody refinances and they're no longer the mortgage holder, they send a conveyance that we're done, we've been paid off in full, but also, we're no longer have any hold to your home. Well, it's the same thing when a house is paid for, but in this case, this got real ugly. That bank went out of business. They got paid, they went out of business, they don't even have the name anymore. Well, that title company made this particular seller get a bond that became a pretty good size. I want to say it was like 10 grand that he had to pay, which was 3 times the value of what he had paid for the home. So he paid 30 grand. He had to get a $90,000 bond on the house so that nobody could ever come back to him and say, hey, there's money owed on this property. Totally unfair in my opinion, but those are things that, man, that's a hidden cost. And I think that was 9 grand he had to pay was the real number. It was 10%.
Wow.
Isn't that ugly?
That's
Yeah, I'd be furious.
I actually posted that on Facebook on my just personal page, telling anybody that if they've ever because old people finally pay their house off,
Right.
So you just have to make sure when you pay your house off, we don't just depend on the county recorder's office to hold the deed in our name. We make sure we get that reconveyance from the bank itself. It's like a pink slip, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. No, that's definitely.
9,000. My wallet just flipped the fuck over.
My bank account's screaming for help.
That's crazy. 9 grand. Imagine not owing anything for 30 years and then finding out like, no, you still owe us 9
You
grand.
get slapped
Right?
with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
On
gotta
the
go get that
Facebook,
job at Walmart.
Here for 29 more years, and never got any notice from the bank. Nothing. He didn't owe him anything, but it was the title company that I think kind of gave it to him a little bit. Yeah. So
Who knows? It was the same title company too back then and now.
Oh, I mean, it's possible because there are these title companies. They're all filthy rich. They've been around for.
Yeah. Wow.
One other thing I'll just share with you that just in my head came up, and I'll just throw it out there if you have other questions. But something that's been recent, if you do have some Bay Area people, we had, it's funny, these people, meaning me, people that vote, we all forget about this. But when they're asking for different bonds to come in and, sign over this, and for whether it's for schools or for whatever, well, there's a fee that it takes place in Contra Costa County, Alameda County, all the counties throughout the state of California. And it's called a county transfer tax. And so we all pay $1.10 for every $1,000 when we sell our home. So typical home, let's say it's $600,000, you'll pay $660. Not that bad, In the city of Concord, there's no transfer tax. There's no city transfer tax, but you always got to pay that. So now a house is $900,000. So typically it'd be about $990 in county transfer tax. Now get this. I sold the house to a fellow friend of mine, and he lived in Livermore. Well, Livermore and a few others, don't quote me for sure on all of the cities, but I think it was San Leandro just had an election that we went through, the 2020 election, and it just passed that they were going to raise their city transfer tax. And at the time, again, Concord's where I'm from, so we have no city transfer tax. I think it was at $4, if I'm not mistaken, and it jumped up to $15 to pay for all kinds of little things. So not only did the seller have to pay $1.10 for their $800,000 home that I sold for them, so it was $880, but they had to pay $15 on every $100,000 on every $1,000. Excuse me. So that was like an additional $7 grand, I think it was. So that was ugly.
God damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm with Marcus on that.
That's crazy.
Speaking of Marcus, hey,
Well, looks like I'm staying here.
Yeah, you're not coming back to California. Since he lives in Texas, and I've at times have had, a lot of time, even at the moment I still do, have interest in moving out there. One thing I've noticed with newer communities that are being built, and I've noticed this happens in other states, is you'll have a community improvement district tax on the new homes to pay for all the streets and all the utilities and everything's been built out. Does California have that? 'Cause I've never been able to find out if California has anything like that.
I feel like you've done all your homework pretty amazingly. We do. So here's how it works. When the developer comes into an area, they all bid on the job. But there's a huge vacant piece of land. That's actually happening in Concord. If you guys are around Concord or that area, the whole naval weapon station.
Yeah.
Thousands of acres, right? Well, they had like 5 different developers bidding on that. And that was granted from the federal government to the city of Concord because that's where it sits. And so what they do is part of the negotiation with the city is they come on, they say, hey, we'll build this amount of houses. And then everybody comes and complains, well, we want parks, we want this. So they got to negotiate it and the city has to listen to the people. But at the end of the day, the city will come back to the developer and say, well, if you're going to build all these houses and you're going to make all that money like that, then we want you to put streets in. We want you to throw in these parks. We want you to put in an elementary school. We want you to do all those things. And to your point, yes, they roll that over into us or into the homeowners. Antioch had it very aggressively, also known as Mellow Roos, if you guys remember. And that Mellow Roos was actually based on the square footage of the home or the sales price. And so I had several friends literally 30 years ago in the 1990s when Antioch was first getting built up tremendously. They had $300-400 additional taxes on their tax bill every month. And so after 30 years, that should be off their bill, and then it's done. But even the Mellow Roos, we have that in almost every part of, I would just say Mount Diablo School District, which is sort of in our community. But most schools are taking a little something out of the old pocketbook, but it's usually kind of small.
Yeah, no, that's just crazy.
I'm learning a lot right now. It's just like I said, I've done this research, but I've never spoken with someone in the industry who knows about it. So it's interesting to hear your perspective and how it works. It's just, it makes the idea of buying a home daunting. I think Jose's the only one out of the group
throwing those ideas off at me like I'm supposed to fucking know.
He doesn't give two shits.
Not now. I'm not in the market to buy a house.
Right.
My credit is horseshit.
It is. I mean, his advice to buy out of state is looking more and more alluring as we speak.
Yeah, seriously, it really is. My girlfriend's against it, but
come on.
I don't know, man. Your politics are a little rough for me, dude.
I meant them, not you.
Sometimes it's just about math, right? I mean, coming from a degree in finance when I first got into real estate, and I was 19, 20, 21 years old, I guess, and I thought, God, it just doesn't even financially make sense 35 years ago to buy in real estate in California. Here's the truth. There has only been, and this is, I'm going to even just exaggerate a little bit, but it's not really much. As an investment in California, you literally had about 18 months of when it was a good time to buy a home in California. And that was from the period of about 2011 to 2012 and a half, maybe 2013, somewhere in that neck of woods. 2008 through 2012, the market just completely tanked, and you could legitimately put 20% down on a property and get a cash flow. Well, guess what? You can do that in the top 100 metropolitan areas in the United States. You can't touch anything in the state of California with that, except for maybe real rural areas, like Oakdale, California, outside of Modesto or outside of Bakersfield.
Where it's hot as hell, and I've told my friends.
Come to Texas.
Working on it. No,
if I don't want to deal with California,
you didn't just say you working on it after you just told me you want to move to Las Vegas.
Hey, my uncle bought a house out there for $267,000.
That's not. I don't care. Don't say you working on it if you ain't actually gonna come out here. Don't say you working on it. Cause I'm gonna tell you to put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I'm trying to get hired by a company that's like global, so we'll see about that.
No excuses.
Trying to transfer from within. I'm not trying to go job hunting in another state. Who knows? Maybe I will. Or maybe this podcast will fund us.
It's probably better than job hunting in California.
Probably.
Yeah, no, seriously. The last 2 months.
Unless you're a coder.
Right? So, yeah. So Michael, what are some of the like again? So you've been doing real estate since the early '90s. Would you say anything as far as being a real estate agent has changed as far as what you do as far as what you did back then compared to now, or?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are out trying to tell real estate agents and real estate brokers on how to sell real estate, and oftentimes they haven't sold it themselves. Inspirational, motivational type of people that say, "Oh, you can sell 75 homes a year or 100 homes a year," and they've never sold 5 homes in their career. At the end of the day, selling real estate is like any type of work. There's some luck involved. There's some hard work. There's some heavy duty ups and there's some heavy duty downs. As far as my colleagues in the industry, there's very low barriers to entry in real estate. In other words, if you can fog a mirror, you can pretty much get licensed as a licensed real estate agent. And that
I
just
tried to
means
fog a mirror once, and it didn't work out.
it wasn't for you. And so now that doesn't mean that you be successful in real estate. It just simply means that you can get your license, right?
Right.
The downside of that statement or that reality is that people that have no ethics tend to thrive or at least tend to get pulled into areas where a lot of money can be made, right? I mean, anything. And so, and that goes true with anything. The downside of real estate is that there's very low education levels, and thus you're dealing with people's, oftentimes $1 million houses. Now, shoot, everybody has $1 million house. That's a, commonplace. So the answer, or at least the thoughts that I have, is that that probably hasn't changed, though. Honestly, Julio, that hasn't changed. If anything's changed, technology is certainly it's lowered the commissions, which that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. The internet has allowed buyers to be able to see houses, and agents don't have a little secret, way to hold that. I don't even know if you guys are familiar with that because you've been probably so conditioned to be having the internet your whole life.
No, not at all. I actually, true story here, and Jose could back me on it. When Jose was originally on the house hunt before he bought his house, I went to go look at a couple of places with him, and I don't know if he had the opportunity to virtually tour them, but we had to do the whole meet the real estate agent at 10 in the morning,
do the walkthrough.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, and shoot, with COVID, I mean, real estate got completely out of hand. Now I think that's going to come to a little bit of a slowdown or a change because now, there's still a lot of people. I mean, it's hard to believe, but there's still a lot of people that are stuck in their house and they're not coming out, especially if they're older and maybe, they've got complications of whatever. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of those people finally feel that they can go and move to where maybe their kids are living now. And so more inventory will come out. But I think you've got 40% of the inventory that's lacking. And what drives prices, by the way. Prices are driven because buyers don't have any choices. So they're like, do you want this one or do you want that one?
Pay the seller what they want then.
That's right. So with more competition brings more flexibility for the buyer. Thus, they get a little bit more choice. And so the sellers have to be more aggressive on their price and compete.
All right. Well, that's all the questions. Well, actually, no, that's all the questions. I do have one more.
Yeah.
What would you tell somebody who can't afford a 20% down payment on a home right now?
Don't buy a house.
Bingo.
Wow, that was easy.
And it is. And I'm right to the
answered
point.
that.
I mean, here's the reason why, and I'm not being an ass, pardon the expression, but here's the reason why I've just found it all day long for years. That the truth is the banks have the 20% rule of thumb for a reason. And, and when I learned about real estate from my dad, of course, he was not a real estate guy. He was involved in a different type of business. But he had, maybe when I was real young and I was learning, I was asking him, and he had shared with me, nobody ever bought a house without 20% down. Like you didn't buy a house if you didn't have 20% down because the banks would never give you $1 if you didn't show them you had something. Damn. And so, you have a vested interest. The reason I say that our values won't do the 50 to 70% reduction that they did in the 2007 to 12 is simply because people have a vested interest. The majority of people that have bought these crazy prices, they've still put down 20% in a lot of cases. Now, it's only been over the last year that I get emails every day, just like everybody in their own industry, that's saying, hey, we got a 15% deal now. We got a 10% deal. Well, now we're seeing the last 6 months, I've seen 5% deals. Well, that does create a flurry of people that cannot afford a home. Because the reality is, Julio, and this goes directly to your point, if you don't have 20% down, that means your payment's going to be higher. Well, you also don't have 20% down, and this is a little bit rough, because you didn't sacrifice it all in your life by living with 5 other people or living at your parents' house longer or whatever it was to sacrifice to have that money in your bank. So because you're not able to do that, then you're probably going to not be able to not go out to dinner when you feel like it when you own a home, because now you got a little bit more expenses. You're not going to, get the Toyota when you end up with the Mercedes or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Millennial here, and
Yes.
it's not that we didn't sacrifice. Is that instead of saving that money, we decided to go out and party with our friends,
True. No, that is
There's
true.
that.
and then blame the economy.
I love that. I actually love that. One of the reasons I love that I can relate to it is probably a month ago, I had to do my continuing education, right? And they talk about all the different eras and the millennials. And literally, even though I've had clients that are millennials, in fact, I just sold a client, a millennial, about 3 weeks ago. When I read all about it and really got the details, it was like they just want a better life. They just want like more fun. They just want, and all this stuff.
That's
So
it.
to your point, it's true. But the reality is, then it's true to just rent, enjoy life and rent, and it's okay.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'll tell you
It's
that right
okay.
now. That's exactly why I'm doing it, because I understand that when you're wanting to purchase a home, it's a completely different level of seriousness.
That's
Yep.
right.
A lot
It
of
is.
things that I'm enjoying currently, I will not be able to enjoy once I own a home.
Amen.
Ditto.
That's right. That's
Yep. I
it.
mean, I had my own apartment for 2 straight years. Had to pay every single bill myself. There were times where I had to think about whether or not I wanted to go out and hang out with people or just stay at home because I didn't want to be the one to get kicked out of my house because I couldn't pay my goddamn bills.
That's strong. That's
I think
responsible.
I think I think a lot of people in our generation suffer from the delusion that you could do both.
Nope.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, if you got the
And
money, then yes.
but you can't. Even if you do have the money, you can't, because you're gonna try to go do both, but you're gonna
Fuck yourself out of your money.
you're gonna screw yourself over your own money.
Hmm.
At one point, you're
Over
gonna
thinking you
party
can live
harder
this
than
whole
your bills.
lifestyle. Over thinking you can live this whole lifestyle and still have everything. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Sometimes you got to pick one or the other.
Yep.
I'm with
And there's
Marcus
nothing
on
wrong with
that.
that.
Bottom line is, hey, life is short, and there's a time when you got to celebrate and have fun and reward yourself for what you're doing. And I know that there's a lot of people that grew up from an era, and I helped these people lose their house for them. I sold them at the time $800,000 house. They couldn't afford $800,000 house. 3 years later, they're getting rid of it, and that house sold for $340,000. And so the kids that grew up in that environment, that saw their moms and their dads lose those homes, that did something to their mind that I don't think they will ever forget. That feeling of being kicked out of your home when you're 13 years old, or maybe you're 16 years old and you're in high school. That's no good. You
I'm
experience
one of
that.
those kids, bro.
That's
I
right.
experienced that.
That's right. And so that's something that, and you've told your mind, I don't care if you go to therapy for the rest of your life, there's going to be something in your head that's going to say, dude, I don't ever want to have that experience ever again.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Definitely.
That's okay.
Like I had
That's
that. I had a similar experience. It wasn't losing the house. It was more like so PG&E came to cut off the power because my mom hadn't paid the bill.
Right.
So I didn't know how much it was. So I was sitting there like, okay, look, I got money. I'm not paying rent. Might as well just go ahead and pay the bill. So that way I can surf the fucking internet and play my damn video games because that's all I gave a damn about. So I paid the damn thing, and he said, he was like, wow, dude, like it was that easy. I was like, no, it was not that easy. Like I went from just living at home with my parents, not even giving a damn, having responsibilities except for going to work and keeping my car up and paying my phone bill, to paying a bill in this house. And I realized, okay, damn, when I actually move out, this is the type of shit I'm gonna have to decide whether or not I can pay this bill or go out and do shit and waste my money on shit that is momentary or
That's right.
material.
It's true. So I think that, I'm a big fan of balance. I'm a big fan of balance, and I think balance does come with sacrifice enjoyment, work hard, play hard. I mean, that's balance. You know, peace of mind isn't found by hustling all the time. Peace of mind isn't found by being buried by a home. And so there are people, you know, everybody's got a different walk to life, you know, and the people that can afford an $800,000 house, hey, good for them. The people can afford a, you know, I give you a quick, easy example. It's interesting. This was probably 15 years ago. I got invited to come over to a guy's house. He wanted me to sell it. He's like, well, I don't live there, so just meet me over at the property. I rent it out. Long story short, and I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, but it was interesting. This guy bought a brand new condo and literally put an ad in the paper. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 650 square foot condo in North Concord in Northwood. That's the name of the street, Northwood in Concord. And that guy had his first call as a guy that wanted to come out and rent the place. And this is no joke. That fellow rented the place for 23 years. He bought that place for $27,000. Oh, and I found out that the guy I was having a deal with was the renter. And I said, holy shit, you've been here for 23 years, bro. You rented this thing for this. This guy's 7 years short of just paying this whole thing off. And he was as humble can be. And he said, you know what? I've had a good life. He said, here's the deal. I got a gambling problem. And I could never afford to buy this place because I would have always been worried that I would have lost it anyway. And I felt bad for the guy. But the truth is, he had a decent life. You know, he had an old lady that, nice lady. I mean, they were probably in their 50s at this point, 60s. And so to each his own, man. To each his own.
You always got to know where you stand.
That's it. And if you got a lot, then try to give a lot. If you got nothing, then try to just do what you can.
Yeah, and Michael, Jose here, that kind of segues to my next question. You know, you mentioned giving a lot, and you know, one of our fellow friends from the pod, Chris Espinosa, had mentioned that you do a lot of work for the community. You know, you have been giving back. You mind highlighting for our audience, you know, what are some of the things you've been doing to help the community?
Oh man, that's really, I appreciate it. I didn't see that one coming, but you know, probably as far back as I can remember, because I have been blessed in a lot of ways, I try to inform people. I try to, so one of the things is, and I don't know how I met Chris necessarily, but I know that I've spoken at a lot of high schools. I speak on in different topics, but a lot of those topics relate to stress and anxiety. So I go to schools. I've been all over the country and have gone to colleges as well. I was the chairman of a board called the AHA movement, and that AHA stands for Anti-Hazing Awareness, because I'd met a woman that her son had been involved in a hazing incident, and that boy, you guys might remember this. It happened in Chico State. I think it was like May something or other, 2005, and they forced him to drink water. Yeah. And all he did was drink water. Well, he ended up dying.
Oh, yeah, he died.
Yeah, I remember that.
Overhydrated.
Okay. And so I met this lady, and I was like so blown away that took place. So I asked her, hey, you want to go around and teach people hazing's bullshit? This is crazy. Like you're friends, we're brothers, so just do what I do. And even though I did it, it was dumb, but let me make you do it, and it was dumb. And so all of that being said, that was kind of something I really found myself pulled in that direction. I won't get into it too much, but I did write a book called Fearing Nothing. And this book is all about, I don't know if you can see it at all. I know there's got some light going on here. But this book was written by me, and it became bestseller on Amazon, #1. And the reason it hit #1, it was timing. I got lucky. I was lucky because of this sad thing. Robin Williams, Kate Spade, all these super popular people were killing themselves because they were having a tremendous amount of anxiety, too much. They wanted the $1 million, and I'm not saying these guys couldn't afford it. They could all afford it, right? But it's the people that are overwhelmed. They want to have the house. They want to have the cake and eat it too, like Marcus said. And you know what? Sometimes it's not possible. You cannot have the cake, eat it too, make it, bake it, take it, all that stuff, and then tell your friends everything's cool. No, it ain't cool. There's lots of things. It's hard. Life is tough, And so that book came out, and it was just luck. Hit the timing lottery, and because it was about it hit it mostly in work environments. It's funny. I got a great story about it, so I won't get into it unless you guys want to hear it. But in a nutshell, I gave a speech and 500 people were there. And I in my head thought, hey, there may be 2 people that had the problem I had, which was like an anxiety disorder. I was too wound up, too stressed out. You can hear it. I'm a pretty fast-paced guy. Most people think I'm on coke or whatever, but I just have energy, and unfortunately that energy gets away from me sometimes, and then I just get spun out, if you will. But I figured there was going to be 2 people in the crowd, and literally, this is no joke, out of about 450 people, quite frankly, but every single person in that room raised their hand when I asked, has anybody experienced depression, anxiety attack, or just flat out just lost control of themselves? And of course, I would think the answer would be no. Like most people don't have that, but everybody related to it, and I think it became number 1 in stress management. And so companies realize that all of their employees are stressed out. So we're all trying to strive for this big house, but I do think in a full circle here, these houses are not worth what they're selling for, guys. And I don't think you're too far off on the path by not owning a home. So don't beat yourself up, because that's not going to do anything. But I think that rational thinking is what I've seen you guys do on this show. And you make fun of it, and it's all fun, and that's what gives us good humor about life. We deal with it. But at the end of the day, I think that you're going to find that more people will be able to afford more homes, and it's just a matter of us figuring out the solutions to it. And that usually comes down just with more inventory, one way or another.
No,
The only thing about that is, if you do find a solution to it, most people, it's like, oh, I can make, $1 billion with this idea. Let me hoard it and make money off it instead of just sharing it with the people so everyone else can do just about as better as you.
So let me help you understand where I refer to, Marcus. I appreciate you pointing that out. So here's what I mean by a solution to it. I'm not saying that I'm going to have, hey, you guys all want to move in my house. I got a big pad, That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
how much is the room?
That one of the solutions that's been happening all over the place is tiny houses. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
And the reality is maybe that's what we have to do. Maybe we don't have to live in these McMansion houses. Maybe we got to be in a, 500 square foot home. These things are 90 square feet, by the way. So it's like a bedroom, but crazy impressive on the amount of stuff and storage and things. And, because we got a lot of population. But the bottom line is prices will not last like this, because even the people buying them are saying, bro,
I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, that's right. And here's the bottom line.
What's the
okay, they
point?
can get in the house. Can they keep making that payment for 30 years? That's 360 times they got to make that monthly payment.
And even if you could, what would be the point, right? Like, if you live in a 15-bedroom house, but you only have 3 kids, what's the point?
That's right. You're living in 3 bedrooms at a time. That's all you can do.
Wait, are they Catholic? I'm just saying, if they can't, that would make sense then. Everybody
No, but
bedroom.
okay. So think about it. Everybody wants the wrapper home, right? Like, think about it. Right now, I currently have a 3-bedroom home. It's just my wife and I. We have a roommate, and I'm currently sitting in the office. Yeah. But my wife and I plan to have 2 kids eventually. So this would be the ideal home for us.
That's right.
And even then, we're looking around like, damn, this place is hella fucking big. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I would do with more space.
That's what baffles me when
Man cave.
Man cave
with a projector.
But see, that's exactly it. That's wanting your cake and eating it too, because then you want your man cave. Once you get your man cave, you're gonna want a bowling alley in the basement. You know what I mean? Like, you see all these rappers. We grew up watching MTV Cribs, and we want a house just like that, but we don't even understand why we want it.
Bowling alley in the basement, bro. I'm gonna build that shit in the side wall. 3D
side wall.
Hey, video game, bro.
I'm not trying to promote a commercial. I really am not. But I had another book that I wrote 3 years after I wrote that first book on stress and anxiety. And my story is really simply this: I wrote this book because I was about ready to give a huge presentation at a teacher association. There was thousands of teachers there, and I was there to talk to them about their kids and how to get them to have more balance and teach them how to manage teenagers in high school. And the night before, I said to myself, when I was kind of preparing, just going over some stuff, making sure I was right on the path. And I asked myself, is that everything? Do I got everything? Is everything I've got, I'm going to lay it out there for them? And immediately I had this thought. It's like, no, my information, what I'm going to share is not what I really want to talk about. And what I really wanted to talk about was this right here. And I don't know if you can see it just because of the lighting and all that, but it's attitude. It influences everything. And so to your point exactly, to me, it's about attitude. You got to be grateful. And I love the fact that you're grateful that you're like, man, this place is, I got everything. And you do. You're breathing, you do. And so I've been ungrateful parts of my life, and I've had a burning desire to prove myself for some reason. I'm not too sure why. But at the end of the day, I'm aware of it, and I know that it didn't make me any happier. I mean, that's the fact. I mean, it didn't make me any happier.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
I think it's part of learning. It's part of the process that we can all do better, but it takes attitude of gratitude, attitude of being thankful, attitude of doing the right thing. And I think you guys, I love the fact that you guys have put something together because you're the entrepreneurial spirit of America and how America was built, frankly. And so, yes, I think you guys have awesome stuff.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. So like,
Really.
when you talk about attitude, as far as your book that you're talking to us about just now, are you saying that like, like cutthroat attitude? Like what do you refer to when you talk about attitude?
I think it means confidence.
Good. So this is what's great about the book. First of all, I wrote the book because I like to read, but I don't. Like I like mindset information, but it's always like, God, I can't read it. I never finish them. So I'm on Audible, right? I do all the audio listening because I just like it. I'd rather be in my car and just getting pounded this stuff. Yep. So the answer is I wrote a book that's got 88 pages and you can read it within 1 hour. And attitude, it influences everything. I've got it broken down. So the word attitude is an acronym for basically the 9 letters that come across to show what is attitude about. What does it incorporate? What are the chapters about? So you'll see, T is for thoughts. Another one is intention for the I. U is for understanding. Bro, you can have that mean, aggressive attitude, and that's not the attitude I'm talking about. You need the U for understanding people, trying to comprehend where are they coming from so I can come in with the right attitude, right? The A is about approach, coming in with the right approach. There's people that have had it far worse than me. I can't come in there acting like I'm somebody that's all that, and they're going to be like already ditching me, not even wanting anything to do with me because of the way I'm approaching it. And anything, the way we approach our teachers, family, friends, wives, wives are tough, bro. You approach them the wrong way, and it's over. You lose before you start.
I'm sold. Can I get an Audible signed version of this book?
I love it. I don't actually have the Audible. I got the Audible for the other one. That'd be like 7 minutes on Audible, right? How fast I talk.
Shit, I'll buy it.
But I definitely would love to send you guys.
I'd buy it because it just sounds like you're rapping to us the whole time.
Yeah.
Speak of the
language.
It would be a 7-minute rap song. You're good.
Yeah, we don't have too many of those.
Oh man.
Well, I get excited about that because I honestly believe there's a lot of important things in life, but attitude, if you can figure out a way to master a good attitude. So the answer is it's about good attitude, the right attitude. And what is the right attitude? In every situation in life, there's different right attitudes, right? The way we talk with our neighbors, the way we talk. And that doesn't mean we're playing fake. We're just trying to become the best we can be with the right speaking ability, listening ability, doing the right thing, so on and so forth.
I completely agree with
that's super relatable. Actually, I was at a car shop not too long ago, and it happened to be a Monday, and the guy just kind of went on a little discussion about how people's attitudes towards Monday just kind of made it like the worst day of the week, when it really doesn't have to be. We already come with that preconceived notion that it's Monday, it's gonna be a crappy day, or I'm gonna be sluggish. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I woke up this morning and I was like, today's gonna be a good day.
It's Sunday. Everybody knows it's Sunday.
They say that the majority, and I don't remember the statistic, but something crazy like 60% of all heart attacks happen on Monday morning. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that.
Jeez,
Tuesday morning.
I am
crazy.
not. Well, I made it through this Monday, so I'm good.
Not this week. Not yet, at least.
I don't know, man. You've had some close calls.
I have.
That's awesome.
And I weigh more than you.
You do.
So this is a question that we ask every guest, Michael.
Please.
Should Julio shave that mustache?
I think it's actually, he looks like Mario Kart. So I'm saying,
I get that a lot. And I actually
I swear to God, I thought he was gonna say, "Look, it's Officer Rod Farva's twin from Super Troopers."
Oh man.
And Ricky, way to get an answer there, because that's not something we ask every guest.
Yeah.
Jesus
You're the
I was thinking, man, Julio's got to get off the show. Every guest has to analyze his face.
Oh man.
Oh shit, too close.
That's probably why he called in sick like the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2.
No, I had a really wicked bad food poisoning. I think I was talking to Michael as I was recovering from it. That was fun.
Marcus, do you have any more questions? That's it.
Yeah, Marcus, what's up with this drone situation?
Oh yeah, so my mom is starting her own aerial photography business targeted with drones. Her main target is real estate agencies, where she's basically trying to get them to become her clients to do aerial photography for the properties that they're showcasing. Because not a lot of guys do that shit to like show them what everything looks like above. So she asked me to ask you, do you have any advice on procuring clients or trying to convince them to use her services in order to kind of help enhance the buying process for their clients or whatever?
Well, that's good. That's a fantastic question. I love helping other people. If I can help them, help her have a better business. So here's my take on it. I probably get 2 to 3 of those emails, and I don't want to exaggerate, but I'm thinking, I feel like 2 to 3 a day, but let's say 3 a week. I get about 3 a week, maybe 4 a week from people that have the 360. That might even be the name of a company. Drones. They call them different names. But here's the bottom line. It's about persistence. She needs to go to the real estate offices, and I'll tell you, if it was me, this is what I would do. She's got to do it free. Do it free. Do it free for a couple agents, because those agents will be her client for their life. Like if she does it for free, and the next one she says, hey, throw me $25, whatever, because it's usually about $100, I think, for the package from what I've seen. But once she does a few free ones, then those people are going to be excited to be able to use her, and they'll be calling her every single time they get a listen. The average agent, by statistics, by the way, is 1.1 sales per licensed real estate agent in the country. Now that's not enough to live on, but I would say your average decent realtor does about 15 deals a year, and so it's $1,500 from one gal. If she gets 10, 15 people, that's 15 grand. I just feel strongly that I'm a believer in giving value first. And if she does that, or she says, hey, I'll do it for $50, and puts a presentation together. But once she gets a couple, then they're going to turn into a couple more. That'd be my best guess. Give away some stuff, man. Let them see that she can do it. She doesn't even need to be hired. Find out when it comes on market, do it all herself, throw them some free stuff, and boom, she's rolling.
Give them value first. That sounds like our content.
Give her away the goods first, bro.
That's right, man. That's right.
Isn't that what I'm doing with your wife's podcast?
Oh yeah, that's true. You're editing their stuff for free.
Nah, you charge her $50.
Well, no, $50 flat rate. That's total.
The package is
not
normally
not per
100.
episode. So they're just starting out. I'm not about to like.
Listen. You did our podcast for free in our refrigerator to somebody, didn't I?
Yeah, he's right.
Just prove Michael's point.
Yes, you did. All right, guys. Any more questions? We can get started into the more fun part of the segment.
That's pretty much it. So
Yeah, I guess
go ahead and get on.
It's up to Michael. If Michael wants to hang around, keep joking around with us, or he wants to call it a night for him.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and get to the good shit. Let me go ahead and start off by throwing this dirty joke out there. So, how do you embarrass an archaeologist?
No clue.
Give them a used tampon and ask them which period it came from.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Damn.
Okay.
About shock value. Oh man.
That'll show them. All right.
That's dirtier than dirt.
It's probably covered in dirt.
God damn. What? Never mind.
I'm not even gonna ask, but I was thinking the same thing you were thinking, Bulls.
Yeah.
It's an archaeologist.
That ain't dirt.
Getting.
Let me stop before we trigger somebody. All right. So look what I found. All All right, so first up, we got an Atlanta defund the police backer who gets his car stolen by some kids in broad daylight.
This is hilarious to me.
Didn't this happen to Akon in
This-
Atlanta also?
I have no idea, but the fact that like you're against defunding the police, and don't get me wrong, I completely understand that the defund the police movement isn't actually about getting rid of all the funding for the police department and instead better allocating that money towards other programs. But the fact that you're so intent on this and the first thing that you do as a reaction is call 911 tells you why we need 911.
Yeah.
Nope. No. If you support this movement, I'm sorry, you don't get a pass. You gotta just, well, guess I gotta go get another car now.
Hey, bro, they defunded the police, so all you could call is 9.
It's 9. You don't get the one.
Iteration.
That 11 is gone.
He's running for mayor now, so I think he backtracked and he said he doesn't really advocate for defund the police, but just changing kind of the way that things are done, whatever that means.
Isn't it amazing that the moment something happens to you, you automatically start backtracking?
Yeah.
And I think we got footage. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Brown was out of his car meeting with community leaders when he says a group of very young thieves jumped in his car and took off.
Fox 5's Patty Pan spoke to the councilman. She joins us now live tonight with more. Patty, what did he tell you?
Yeah, the councilman tells us that police actually have found his car, but really we don't have any other details than that. Now, the councilman also said he never saw it coming. He tells us he was literally 3 or 4 feet away from his car when he believes what appeared to be 4 young children, he says no more than 11 or 12 years old, got into his car. But really what's most shocking is he believes that one of the children was no more than 6 or 7 years old. And at the time he saw them, he says they were holding a toy.
There was no care for loss of life and for themselves or myself.
Atlanta councilman and mayoral candidate Antonio Brown says what happened to him in his district in the Dixie Hills community in Northwest Atlanta is a perfect example of what is happening to our youth and why we as a society need to step up and help. Councilman Brown tells Fox 5 4 young children stole his white Mercedes coupe just before noon Wednesday, and at the time he was standing just a few feet away speaking with community leader Ben Norman.
One kid was in the driver's seat. Ben attempted to open the door to get him out of the car. He fought with Ben. I had then engaged and tried to get him out of the car. The 3 other kids were trying to figure out to get in the car or stay out of the car. He started to hit on the gas. Ben let go, and then the kid started to drag me in the car a half of a block.
Officers were called to Verbena Street in Northwest Atlanta. According to Councilman Brown, he turned off his car, which has a keyless start, got out of the car, and was standing nearby when he says he noticed 4 young children, no more than 11 or 12 years old, the youngest possibly 6 or 7, walking around a nearby store, and within seconds, they were in his car.
One of them jumped in on the passenger side, hopped over real quick, and started the car up. It's one of those keyless cars where you just push the button. And, quickly, we try to go there and we're going to maybe try to get the kid out of the car or something, but like, what do you do to a kid, right? It's like, so he'd already started, figured out, they had plans. They knew what they were going to do. Just hit the gas and he peeled out and took off.
Generational poverty has gone on long enough. It's time that we start addressing the root of this problem, because there's no amount of officers you're going to put on the streets in Atlanta that could have stopped this from happening.
Now, again, Atlanta police still investigating this case. No word yet, if anyone has been arrested. But coming up at 6, find out what Councilman Brown wants to happen or not happen to these kids if and when they're caught. For now, that is the latest outside Atlanta Police Headquarters. I'm Patty Pan, Fox 5.
We're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
That's wild. So they were 6 to 12 years old, those kids?
6?
Yeah, that's what he said. 6 years old to 12 years old.
Yeah, there were 6 to 12-year-old kids that stole his car.
Dang.
Damn.
I bet one of them said, pull over. I forgot my juice box.
That reminds me of the Oakland situation. Did you guys catch that one?
No, what happened there?
A lady in Oakland was flagged down by a bunch of kids, and they told her that her wheel was flat. So then when she pulled over and got out to check, they all jumped in the car and drove off.
Oh, man.
That's so brutal.
She left the keys in the ignition too, didn't
Bro,
she?
I'm sorry. That's one time I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
Why would you leave your kids in the car? Your keys in the car,
That's so stupid.
even if it's a push to start.
Like, I'm
Turn the damn
paranoid
thing
as
off.
hell.
Man, I gotta send you guys this
that
clip.
happening. I could see that happening. Some kids pull over like, "Hey, your tire." So
I
you
take
just
the keys out when I
look
take the
out.
keys out with my girls in the car when I stop to go get something.
I mean, I could
No,
see
that's
that
just
happening somewhere in like Livermore or Concord or Danville. You know what I mean? But
Not
nobody
Oakland.
nobody that grew up in like Richmond
Yeah,
or
that's
Oakland
Is that
would
stupid?
Never.
do something like that.
Man, and remind me to send you guys this clip. My wife sent me this video of this like little boy in Mexico that was basically driving for Uber.
The
And he
Uber
picked up
guy,
his-
I sent you that.
Oh wait, did you send me that?
I sent you guys that to the group chat.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, you're my second
Damn,
wife.
Jose.
Hey,
my
guys,
wife,
I guess we're
Did
married now.
Did Jose just low key call Ricky his wife?
Yeah, he called him
I
his second
guess-
wife.
He's my
I guess
second
we're
wife.
married now.
But no, so that video that Ricky shared with us, that little kid was a boss. It was like driving Uber. The lady was terrified in the back. He's like, no, I'm gonna drop you off safely to show.
Cálmese, usted qué, no pasa nada.
Everything will be fine. Just calm down.
How
Have you
old
seen
was
that video, Michael? Because I will send it to Julio so he can send it to you. It's
That boy look
hilarious.
like-
It's a little
Please
kid
do.
in
I'll
Mexico
send it to
driving
him.
Uber.
He looked like he was at least 8 to
No
10.
way. That's hilarious.
That's
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I didn't even know.
The
that.
lady's like, "Hey, are you even old enough to drive?" She's like, "Hey, calm down. No, nothing's happening. Don't worry. I'll get you where you need to go."
She's probably a tourist from the U.S.
Wow.
Oh my
That boy had
God.
some street smarts, huh?
The worst part, the crazier part was that he was driving a stick shift. It wasn't even an automatic car.
Oh wow.
That boy took hustling to a whole new level.
Well, that guy is probably one of the little people. That's his all. He was probably some, dwarf.
I just thought he put some extra miles on his big wheel.
Oh man.
All right, so moving on. So y'all remember that chick who basically called the police on a bird watcher in Central Park last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Central Park Karen is back at it again. Well, not really. She's suing her former place of employment, Templeton. It's a financial institution.
Yeah, they're an investment firm.
Yeah. Hence the word financial institution. Anyway, so she's suing them for wrongful termination, saying that she is being discriminated against because she was fired, even though the company fired her due to the negative press she was garnering due to that viral video. And in fact, we got a clip of that one. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Known as Central Park Karen, now filing suit against her former employer. Her name is Amy Cooper. She's accusing Franklin Templeton of wrongful termination. The financial company fired Cooper as the outrage over her racist rant hit a fever pitch a year ago right now. Cooper claims they nurtured the idea that the confrontation was a racial flashpoint. She also claims there should have been an investigation before her dismissal.
Man, the world is crazy, isn't it? It's hard to even watch the news.
That's painful.
That's not even
I
the
was having a hard
worst.
time figuring out. First of all, it's like, okay, what's race got to do with it? So it was a black guy that was filming her.
No, so he was
So-
bird watching, and she let the dog off the leash in an area of Central Park where it's illegal to let the dog off the leash.
Right.
So he asked her to put the dog on the
Yeah.
leash, and I'm assuming she started getting kind of hostile towards him, so he pulled out his phone and started recording her.
Right.
So she asked him to stop recording, and that's when that whole shit started.
Yeah, got it. She's crazy, bro. She's a freak.
And
Yeah,
I think she
no.
knew. Go ahead, Rick.
Nah, bro, go ahead.
I was like I think she knew exactly what she was doing. You know, 'cause
They all
she
do.
emphasized African American like twice. You know, she basically said like, if you don't start recording me, I'm gonna call and say an African American man is threatening my life.
But what I don't
Exactly.
understand is what was even the point? Like, what he didn't even do anything. He didn't even move even towards her. So that's a crazy white girl. And
I feel like
She
the
just
dog
didn't want to
suffered the most
be.
out of
She
that.
didn't want to be confronted. Being
yeah,
white while doing something illegal because she knew that she wasn't supposed to have her dog off leash,
okay.
and that's all he asked. All he
Really
did was
And I checked the rules. There are areas in Central Park where you can let your dog off the leash. That is not one of them.
That's not one of them.
yeah, it's one of those
Yeah,
birth
that's
central
the case.
areas.
I guess that's possible.
It's an area called the Ramble or the Rambler or something like
Yeah,
that.
Ramble area, but it's a bird sanctuary area.
Yeah, he was bird watching. So yeah,
So it's the same thing as like when I go walk my dog at Point Isabel. If it's low tide, I'm not supposed to let him out into the bay because it's a bird sanctuary time where birds can feed and stuff like that.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So my take on that in a nutshell, Marcus, is pretty straightforward. I look at it and I say, hey, if I'm Templeton and we know, it's like you said, it's a financial institution and I'm the manager or I'm running the show up there, I'm like, and I saw a video of one of my employees in that situation, bro, we're like, that girl, she's going to be a problem. If it isn't on this deal, it's going to be on another deal. She's got problems.
Yep.
So
she is suing Templeton because she's saying that she got fired due to racial discrimination. If she had not been a white woman, she would not be fired.
And also, she also said that man also had another run-in with another person who let their dog off the leash, and that he basically verbally attacked them, even though there was no proof of that whatsoever happened.
My question
again, she emphasized.
Where is that other person?
Did happen. He's just kind of like being a citizen's arrest guy. If that's really the law that you're not supposed to have it, he's kind of making sure that people are doing the right thing.
It's funny whenever they catch these Karens on camera doing shit like this, and I guess we can also call them Carls or Keith or whatever the hell the male version is. Kevin's. Like it's like you notice that the one who's holding the phone isn't doing anything most of the time. They're just sitting there letting them basically light themselves on fire.
Not right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, I have to ask, like, you've seen all these other viral videos that have gone viral of people doing stupid shit. You didn't think maybe I should stop because this could reflect negatively on me.
Exactly.
Correct.
Or better, it's just like, I don't give a damn.
I can't even imagine being the attorney to take that case. You know,
you gotta be loony as hell to think that's a viable case for you.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure when the call came in, somebody was like, "Yo, so Central Park Karen needs a lawyer. Anybody want it?" Everybody's like,
"Yeah."
Rudy Giuliani stepped right up.
Rudy, you're leaking again. Get the hell out of here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's got no chance of winning though. No chance.
None.
Like, it is well within their right to terminate you if you reflect negatively on the company, and the simple fact that people can find out where you work. Next thing you know, you start losing clients by the buttload.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of you. It was not wrongful termination. You did something stupid, and now you face the consequences.
Right.
Well, so how do you do something racist and then claim that you were being hated on for being white, like for your own race?
Yeah, and I don't guys remember, but when that thing went viral, of course she tried to do damage control, and she issued a press release the very next day, apologizing to Mr. Cooper. Basically said, like, you know what, I was in the wrong. I was doing something illegal. Mr. Cooper was just, basically telling me to do the right thing. He had the right intentions, yada yada yada.
And they even got his response to that, and he said, "I don't think she should have lost her job. I don't think anything bad should have happened to her. I just wanted her to put her dog on a leash."
Right.
I'm loving that Sopranos lighting that Michael has.
I'm still going with what I felt from a very, very instant feeling. She's a freak.
I love the Soprano lighting that you got going on. I might ask you for a favor, bro.
Man, I gotta leave. I can't handle this anymore.
I hear trumpet.
Scared them off.
So now you guys saw in the lawsuit, basically she's claiming that Mr. Cooper was targeting her specifically.
Yeah.
Because you two were the only ones in the area of a bird sanctuary, and you let your fucking dog off the leash.
Maybe I'm too opinionated. I don't even see why people are even looking at birds like that in some special spot. But that's a whole different can of worms.
Yeah,
I think it's the only kind of pecker that gets to see
bird watching. Really?
Yeah, exactly. You got a dog and you're bird watching? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's just like people going to the dog park and you got a big ass dog and they try to stop you from going into the park. Yeah. That dog is too big, bitch. If you don't move, I'm gonna sick my dog on you, and then we can both find out if he's big enough.
So I have a question for you, gentlemen. One question for all. Who's the brains behind all of this?
That would be Marcus, because honestly, he had his own little podcasting going on beforehand. It was one of those like Peter Griffin, what really grinds my gears type of situations.
In fact, my title was stolen from one of his favorite catchphrases.
That was Marcus that had that?
Yeah, so it was his idea for the podcast. And then once he kind of run out of topics that he wanted to essentially go on, he tried to bring us all along, and he pitched it to us sort of what we're doing now. But we all kind of got to put in our 2 cents and kind of tweak it to where we're at exactly now. And yeah, so if it wasn't for Marcus, we wouldn't have even done this.
Yep.
You guys all have different lines of work too, totally different, random, has nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Like I generally honestly on Monday, I'm currently unemployed. So on Monday, I start a job delivering exercise equipment for Fitness 360.
So essentially, Rick, you're a full-time podcaster right now. You're full-time.
Currently a full-time
Yes.
podcaster.
That's the job for the week.
That's what you tell the IRS.
Who does all the uploading and all that stuff? Is that Marcus? So he knows
Marcus
how to
does
do
all the
that.
editing and uploading.
Yeah, see, I've got a degree in video game design as well as visual effects and special effects and all that. And
Oh, cool.
I've worked with all of these programs like for the last 10 to 12 years. So it only made sense that I'd be the one to do all the editing since I know how to do everything.
Sure.
And it's by far the easiest stuff I could possibly do. Like this stuff is not hard at all to me.
And then who does all the Instagram stuff? Do you split that up? Everybody try to do something different?
Yeah, so Jose's Instagram, Marcus is TikTok, Julio is Facebook, and I believe Snapchat, but he's currently working on getting that off the ground.
Yeah,
And I work the Twitter account. But depending on, so for example, our TikTok and our Instagram account have definitely taken off. Things that I've learned from being on Twitter is simply the fact that it's just podcasters uplifting each other where there's really no like room for growth. For example, the last almost month, I've done nothing after explaining this to these guys, and I think we've gained at least 30 followers. So,
Yeah, same here.
It's one of those situations like once you're part of the community, you gain followers, but there's really not much you can do as far as like recommending your own podcast to people asking for podcast recommendations, because all they will do is like the fact that you recommended it, but they won't actually take the time to follow you or listen to you at all.
I see. Okay.
Same thing with Facebook. It's so overflooded that I can follow a million other podcasts and they'll follow back. And occasionally we'll get like a couple extra views every week or maybe like a couple new likes. And
yeah.
all we really do is just upload the videos and just let those kind of just marinate and do their thing.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, if the podcasters follow you back, they don't always engage with your content. So they're just a number.
Like, I'm still searching for podcasters on TikTok, and it's mostly just individuals with their own platforms.
Do you ever get on another podcast with the four of you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've done it.
A ton of episodes like that.
Yeah, cool.
Like 4 or 5?
Yeah, about 5.
4 or
That's
5,
cool.
yeah. And then we've had a bunch of guests
We're
on
always
our
hoping
show.
to go on someone else's show just because it's fun.
Yeah.
Why? Do you have a podcast, Michael? Do you want us to come on?
No, I don't. I don't. It's life is moving so fast, bro. I mean, you guys are sort of more grown up with it than me, and so it's there's so many mediums it's like, dude, you just mentioned 7 different, social media.
It's insane how many mediums there is out there to express yourself in, and there are so many that I honestly believe that it starts to become white noise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think you're right. I wonder sometimes if it's just better to stay with 1 or 2 and really focus all the energy on that. And then until you kill it in that one area, or you get up to the thousands, or if you can get up to hundreds of thousands, if once you hit that, then you can open it up. I just don't know. I mean, you guys would know more than me.
That's why I put more focus on
I would honestly
TikTok and
agree
Instagram.
because we focused on different avenues individually. And I honestly believe, like, if any one of us had to do all of our social media, like, footprint, it wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually what was that's what happened when we first started, and then we decided to start delegating.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, what was it? Like, we figured out that, like, you have to spend at least 4 hours a day
At least 4 hours. It's a part-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
TikTok, it's all video. So
your fifth season, when all of a sudden you start getting popular. I mean, that's the one thing I have heard from a lot of different people that have become pretty popular in their genre, if you will. Is it takes 4 or 5 seasons sometimes, 10, 15 episodes at a piece, and then all of a sudden they hit out of the park.
Yeah. I mean, for us, as far as it goes, like we've decided to go with 26 episode seasons.
Okay.
And this season seems to be the one where we've gotten most people that want to like do collaborations with us.
Cool. It can still take anything.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
even
to
other
be honest,
people,
the first season kind of tanked just because of the whole us getting kicked off of YouTube the first time, and we had to re-upload our videos.
Yeah,
so we ended up losing thousands of views from that first account. So when we
We're
re-uploaded
on
it, we didn't
track,
get the same response because everyone else has already seen those same episodes. So why would they have to go back and rewatch them?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you stop that from happening in the future again? That's what you got to be asking yourself.
Hey, well, they have updated their community guidelines as well as their system. So one of the issues that they said we committed was one community guidelines violations and copyright infringement. So whenever we display like a video clip from us for a story, we have to make sure that there's not a copyright on it. So when we upload the videos, it's got its own check system now where it checks the video to see if there are any. If there are, you can fix it.
Oh, I see.
And I'm very careful on everything that I select. If I can find a video clip from a known news source, they generally won't mess with that.
Okay, sure.
And so far, our last few episodes have been safe. I mean, we kind of did push it with the whole LeBron friggin' Space Jam trailer, but I apologize for nothing. People needed to know about that monstrosity.
Yeah. How do you call yourself Space Jams 2 but say you're not a sequel?
It's not even in space.
Did LeBron say that? Shut up.
Yeah. So LeBron James said that it's not a sequel to Space Jam, right? But the entire movie takes place on the cyber web, and it has nothing to do with actual outer space
at all. There aren't even no aliens.
It's just cyberspace.
That's funny.
Well, Marvin the Martian, but he doesn't count.
Nah.
That shit made no goddamn sense. And then, of course, he made everyone call him King James.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and the entire movie is based about how he's a shitty parent because he wants to push basketball into his kid, even though his kid doesn't want to play basketball.
Is that right? Is that really what it's about?
Yep.
Yes. His son gets pissed off, runs off, gets kidnapped by some cyber lord, and he basically has to battle him to get his son back.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Like, bro, you are a shitty parent.
That's funny. Have you guys happened to watch the what is that? The university, the 30 in what is it? That's where LeBron James' son was in that Netflix.
It's a Netflix special. I have not, but
there's one on football and there's one on. I think it's university something.
Oh shit!
And the boys and they were good. They're from Grand Sierra down in L.A. because he played last year.
I know what he's
in that private school, right?
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And,
I watched a little bit of it, but then when I realized it was his kid, I fell asleep.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry, it's entertainment to put you to sleep.
Yeah. Right, you guys ready to get on rolling?
All right, so next.
Articles?
So that
I thought we were actually rolling. I thought this was part of the actual program.
I mean, it's going in there.
Oh, it's going in there. All right. All right. So let's go. Let's move on to the next joke. So what's the difference between your penis and a bonus check?
I don't know.
Can I actually find my bonus check?
Someone's always willing to blow your bonus check.
That's so true.
Ooh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
If my girl sees this, she's gonna be pissed.
And just tell her where's the lie.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get.
Yeah, she's gonna say, you know damn well that's a lie. I'm like, all right.
I'm gonna get some blowback on that joke.
You the one, and she apparently is. Anyway,
Did you intend for that pun there, Julio? Okay, I'll take that as a no.
No.
All right, let's just keep going.
He's like, what pun?
now he's gotta think back to what the fuck he just said.
I have no idea what I just said.
I've been drinking.
No.
All right, so fuck my life. So in this one, we got Southwest Airlines flight attendant gets punched by a passenger for asking her to, what was it? Put her seat up? Put her seatbelt on?
Put her
seatbelt on.
They're getting ready to land.
She lost 2 teeth.
And
I'm
she
hoping
lost
it's
her
not
teeth
the
when she
front
got-
ones, because then she's got that whole, meth mouth thing looking.
It is 2 front teeth, according to the union.
Hey.
And she hit the floor of the plane, and she fell back and hit the floor of the plane as she got right after she got hit. So she got knocked pretty hard. And this is apparently
question.
Yeah, I think this is the 477 incident just on Southwest Airlines this year.
Question.
This year?
Hold on. Question.
Well, that's like 20 a day.
Did she get hit with the Hadouken or the Shoryuken?
I think you lost Julio on both those references.
Oh, he didn't watch Street Fighter? My bad.
No.
No.
But yeah, so 477 incidents this year of passenger misconduct on Southwest Airlines planes. And this is actually, to be specific, this is from April 8th of last year to May 15th of this year.
Okay.
You know what's crazy, Julio?
What?
There's been, across all airlines, 2,500 cases since that time period. And like 1,900 of those, 2,500, are mask related.
Passengers refusing to wear masks.
You say they're mask related, Jose?
Yeah. So 1,900 of those incidents are people refusing to either put on a mask or comply with the mask.
And the FAA will fine you
So
up
I'm
to
pretty sure you had to wear the
$55,000
damn mask going into the airport, right, before you boarded the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you should expect them to ask you to put that shit on in a small little tube with 2 wings on the bitch with fucking dangling engines to take your ass from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Now,
bad enough we got recycled air.
Now, a lot of the airline
go down inside a plane. You're in there and somebody says, "I don't want to put a mask on." What do you think is the best way to approach that?
War fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot of the union reps have been asking for more federal air marshals to be placed on planes.
Here's my answer to that.
Go find a helmet. Put on the damn helmet.
That.
Good old.
Because someone's about to get their head knocked the fuck off.
It's just, what is the big deal with the mask? I don't understand it.
Like you had to do it for a whole year. I work at Costco, and now that we don't have to wear masks, I still wear it, but we have to wear them bitches for 8 hours.
That's a long time.
You do not hear us bitching about it.
I used to work for Amazon. I delivered packages wearing that damn mask for 8 to 10 hours a day.
I work on a construction zone. I still wear my mask.
Like shit, y'all saw the mask I wore at the beginning of the episode. I'm wearing that to work if they'll let me.
I wore this inside the Amazon warehouse. They told me that that's not the mask they were talking about.
The wrong mask.
Like, sir, your mouth needs to be closed. Hold on.
Oh.
That wasn't even it, bro. I looked at him and I was like, ¿qué? Señor, yo no entiendo lo que me está diciendo.
So, now, there are some repercussions from this. As a result, Southwest Airlines said that they will, for the meanwhile, pause alcohol being served.
For the meanwhile, they're continuing the pause.
Wasn't this an extremely short flight, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sacramento to San Diego.
It wouldn't have been more than an hour.
It was inner friggin' state.
You couldn't keep your mask on for 45 minutes?
An hour and a half?
45 to an hour.
45 minutes.
They show a picture of her and everything?
Case in point.
Yeah, she's a big girl. The one who threw the swing.
Wait. We actually have a video of this, right?
And we do have video.
Let's check the video.
Many take to the skies after a year of limited travel. There are new efforts underway to crack down on unruly passengers. In the last 3 months, transportation officials say they have received about 1,300 complaints about passengers fighting with airline and TSA workers, some of which include passengers refusing to wear mandatory face masks, using offensive language, and even hitting flight attendants. According to the TSA, passengers who assault one of their employees are subject to criminal charges and fines up to almost $14,000.
We're not going to tolerate behavior that threatens the well-being of the public, the employees that bravely are on the front lines. And so the consequence regime is in place. It will be enforced, and it will be enforced appropriately.
And to keep up with the expected increase in travel, the TSA is looking to hire 6,000 additional workers. There are still no current plans to lift international travel restrictions.
We're back.
Start over.
So now American Airlines is going to extend their suspension of alcohol service following the Southwest Airlines incident. So, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure United and Delta and a couple of the other like U.S. carriers are going to follow soon after, if they're already doing it. But, and here's the big but, it's only if you fly economy/coach.
That's crazy.
So if you're business or first class, you still get your alcohol.
Yeah.
Straight retarded though.
Because we all know that if you're first class or business class, no matter how much you drink, you don't get unruly.
Oh hell no!
You're class. You're class.
Gotta keep it class.
First class.
That's why the class word is in there, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna get unruly, you'd have your pinky up the whole time.
Completely insane.
I honestly think she was sitting there like, this bitch better not ask me about my seatbelt. Better not ask me about my seatbelt. Better not ask me about my seatbelt.
Here's the thing, though,
she asks about the seatbelt.
How crazy it is that something as simple as a mask has become politicized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's insane because even the same person that politicized this recently, when there was going to be a meeting of people that were in his belief system in the Capitol, actually raised the price of the rooms in his hotel by like 3%, by like 300%, making it so that those people can afford to stay there.
Isn't it illegal to raise that higher than what, 3 to 7% during a crisis?
I have no idea, but like supply and demand, bro.
Yeah, and also like I read like a local cafe in the Bay Area, they were gonna be charging $5 more to people that went into that shop with masks on. So this guy was like an anti-masker and was like, well, if you come to my shop and you order coffee with a mask on, there's gonna be a $5 surcharge for that.
Is that the
What
same
if I
coffee
take
shop?
the mask off before I pay?
Then you don't pay. You don't pay that $5. Stupid as that sounds.
Was that the same coffee shop that said that they were gonna donate all that money that they got to like domestic abuse sanctuaries and shit like that?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I would go in. I would happily go in there with my goddamn mask on and brag about the fact that I got vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, that same person, that same coffee shop said that they would add an additional tax if you bragged about being vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you must really want to scare off business.
Yeah, that is strange, huh? And that's in the Bay Area?
Yeah, it's in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I went to Walmart a couple days ago. Took my mask off to, I don't know, I forgot what the hell I was doing, but I think I was trying to talk on the phone or some shit. But this bitch walks up and asks, like, hey, why don't you have your mask on? Now, being the normal, disrespectful person that I am, I was like, let me get this straight. So you walked up to me, a very large black man with a very not friendly face, and asked him about his mask.
I don't know. I think you're adorable.
Oh, thank you.
That's why you're my wife, Rick.
You're cuddly, bro.
And her goddamn, her response was, well, I'm just trying to make sure you're safe. I'm like, I've been vaccinated already. I took the mask off because I wanted to take the fucking mask off. It's like, well, you don't need to be rude about it. I was like, I don't know any other way. Because when some TikTok walks up to me and says some shit to me about something, they don't even need to worry about because it ain't got nothing to do with them. You see me coughing? Do you see me puking out my fucking guts? Does it look like I'm sickly, bitch?
Fucking mask off.
Go back to what you were doing. I was perfectly fine in this aisle by my motherfucking self. Only at Walmart, right?
Sometimes
Let
Target.
me ask you guys this. So have all four of you gotten the vaccine then?
Yeah.
Yep.
So one thing I heard about the vaccine, which was sort of surprising, I have not gotten the vaccine. One thing that's been a surprise to me is that, and I didn't know this until maybe a month ago, is that it only lasts 5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Then you got to
that's what
go
we're
get
hearing.
the shot again.
You got to get a booster.
Yeah, that was surprising. That's kind of disappointing. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go and get this thing done. Now it's going 5, 6 months.
What fucks me up is the damn flu shot lasts what, all year?
Yes,
thought
yes,
so.
okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna
yeah.
say yes, and I would agree. It is very surprising, but keep in mind that this is a novel virus. So this is a virus that has never infected our species before.
Right.
Right.
So the fact that we have anything that could keep us safe for even 6 months is incredible.
Oh, totally.
Even
Right,
though
with
they're
the
throwing
time frame
around
they
all
had.
these bullshit ass conspiracies, like they did the magnet test to see if you were microchipped.
Oh, yeah.
One of my coworkers did that to me last week, and the magnet actually stood there.
You sure?
I
Sure,
was like,
wasn't.
oh,
You sure it wasn't stuck to your sweaty ass fucking shoulder?
It could have been.
Because that could also happen. My coworkers did the same
You
shit
sure
to me.
you
And it
haven't
fell right
eaten
the hell
enough?
off.
You sure you haven't eaten enough fish from the Bay Area? So there's enough.
Although I
mean, I
think
did have
that
those fish
magnet
tacos
may
got
have
me
been
sick about a
racist
month
because
ago.
it fell off too damn quick. It's like, oh, black guy, nope.
I'm surprised, Julio. I'm surprised anything stuck to you.
Repel.
So Southwest
But yeah,
Airlines.
let me ask you, Michael. Is there? And I don't mean to get all political and stuff because I really don't care. You know, everybody's open to their own opinion and their own beliefs. Is there a reason why you haven't been vaccinated?
No, I appreciate the question. I appreciate the preface. My wife's very against it, and a lot of it's conspiracy theories. I think for the most part, and for me, I'm probably just I was kind
happy
of
life.
unopinionated about it. Like I didn't
That's
really
what I was thinking.
like I joked around like, hey, if the guy showed up and said, hey, we're all giving vaccines here right now, let's do it. I probably wouldn't be like, oh God, no. That's not. I don't feel that way.
No, definitely. No, I just thought that might have been.
Most of my family, I am Catholic, so I got 7 brothers and sisters. Remember the earlier thing?
That's why you have such a big house. No wonder you didn't tell me how much that room was for rent.
I grew up at 1 bathroom, 9 people, 1 bathroom.
Oh my God.
Never mind. I don't want to remember room.
We knew how to hold our pee for a long time, man. And we had no trees surviving anywhere around the neighborhood, close to the house. But but literally all out of the 7 that are remaining, 6 of them all got it. All my brothers and sisters got it.
Oh wow.
The shot.
Damn.
Yeah. I did have a brother that had a heart attack probably 2 weeks after it, but we can't say for sure. But he did take the Johnson & Johnson, which did come up with the clots thing. But
that's what I got.
I mean, I took the Johnson & Johnson, but ultimately
Jose
the
is
clot
Pfizer
thing
fine over here.
was mostly for
Pfizer.
women that were
Daddy.
using birth control.
oh, is that right? Yeah. He doesn't think it came from that. I said it more to be funny, and to fuck with the family.
No,
Yeah.
hey, listen.
What did he say about Johnson
When it comes
Johnson?
to
Post?
fucking around with people in your family,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
I know what that's
apparently-
like.
Exactly.
So if Pfizer fine, then I guess everybody who got Johnson just developed swinging dicks.
Why? Are you trying to take it for a ride?
That's actually funny.
How? Because I can ride my own
I mean, you trying to take it for a ride? I'll jump in a flat right now for you, bro.
surfboard.
Or
Bo's too busy riding his own waves.
Bro.
But isn't it? I mean, I honestly think that it's wild that how we politicize, even within our own country, right? We like politicize the fact a disease. How do you politicize a disease? We managed to find a way, but I still can't figure out how.
Well, you think of this story, it was about a seatbelt, yet we found a way to
Did
connect
you
it to the
seriously
mask.
just ask that question? Come on,
No,
bro.
no, I really am, bro, because honestly thinking like if it affects one of us, it affects all of us.
Right.
All right, think of it this way: if with that thought, you just basically gave the entire populace of America too much credit. Well, you had
No.
people, doing like I had people do some of the dumbest shit in this pandemic I've ever seen. Like I've seen motherfuckers grab fucking sanitary wipes and wipe down the handlebars of their own car that they got in and out of. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you wiping off? You're the only one using your damn.
Because I just went shopping in Costco. I don't know who touched the handle of my car.
I did the same thing.
I'm pretty sure it's
same.
nobody.
I think that's
Are you
for all
though?
the 6 to 12-year-olds that might
Yeah.
rob your car. So they rob a clean car.
Listen, we just yeah, exactly. We just went over an article where 6 to 12-year-olds try to rob your car. I don't know what happened while I was in the store.
Yeah, while your keys were in the ignition.
Push start.
I wonder
R.
what
Kelly
real
did-
numbers are.
R. Kelly did shit, huh?
That's a
Kicked in
convulsive.
the ignition.
No, he did not just.
Say it again, Michael.
I said, I wonder, part of my book that I wrote on anxiety, panic attacks, it's all about overcoming, because I've never met a person that didn't have OCD that suffered from anxiety. And so if you have OCD, means you're obsessive compulsive, you automatically are defined as somebody that has anxiety. Like you cannot have OCD and not have anxiety. Your brain's going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. That builds up
me all day.
Yeah. So I wonder what the ramifications for all of this will be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, just so the amount of people that have created for the same thing that you were talking about, Marcus, so these guys that are going in there and wiping their column of the car or whatever, just actually, so to give you guys a little insight, so I've helped literally, it's a good story, but probably at least 50,000 individuals personally through my mentor that was on the Oprah Winfrey Show multiple times. Good Morning America, traveled, was on all the daytime shows. It was a little before Ellen DeGeneres and all that. But he was known as Dr. Fear. And one of the things that I was going to share with you in regards to that is that I have found people that have reached out to me over the course of the last year, people that have OCD or they're germophobics particularly, they've actually had reduced anxiety through this process.
Wow.
And it's kind of mind-boggling in a way, because that's not what my prediction would have been. Even when it was starting to come out, I was thinking, oh shit, my phone's going to be ringing off the hook from just people and people reaching out to me for various reasons of the book and some of the coaching stuff I did. And actually it was just the opposite. And the only thing I can put my finger on is it's because people have almost taken the sense of that we're particularly germophobics, thinking like, told you, I told you guys, like, what are you guys all, nobody else has been worried about this. It's coming true. And so it's given them a little bit of almost peace of mind in a bizarre way.
I mean, shit, I was a damn clean freak when I lived in my apartment. My kitchen was always clean. I did not put dishes in the sink unless I washed them immediately. Or they went into the dishwasher and then washed and then turned that thing on. But I refused to let any dishes hit that sink. Because in the area that we lived in, cockroaches were very prevalent.
Okay.
Regardless of how, I kept my house as clean as possible. Like the only part that wasn't was the fucking laundry area right next in my room. That was the only area that was dirty as shit. Everywhere else, the living room was fucking clean, kitchen was clean, the fucking dining room was clean. All that shit was clean.
Do you
and
think
Julio can attest to it?
Do you think that changed a little bit for you in terms of with COVID and did it become less important, or did you think it got heightened?
I'd say a little bit less, just because, well, one, I don't live in my apartment anymore. I'm staying with my parents until I find another place to stay.
Okay.
And the way that they live is completely the opposite from the way I like to keep my place. So I pretty much gotta just go with it at this point. Even though it is irking the holy living shit out of me.
Right.
I got to deal with it.
Right.
You gotta change your attitude.
Yep.
Attitude's everything. I hear. I read this book once.
Yeah, it's under 100 pages. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Amazon bestseller.
I think that's the other book. This one
Boy that
probably
couldn't
top 10.
stop washing his hands. That was the first book I read on OCD.
Wow.
True story. Bro.
Like I'm surprised at how many people don't wash their hands, especially at my job. 'Cause I'll go to the bathroom, and of course, employees are required to wash their hands, but I do it regardless because I used to work at a fucking hospital, and I know exactly what kind of germs you come into contact through on a day-to-day basis.
I'm here from working
So
on the ambulance.
it's mostly elderly men over the age of 55 and older. Like they walk in, handle their shit, and then run their hands on the water and walk the fuck out. And I'm like, you
They don't even
fucking
reach for the soap either.
disgusting bastard.
Right.
They don't even reach for the soap.
Like the last guy, I called him out because this is all he did. He put his hands under the water and took him out before the water turned on and walked the fuck out. I was like, are you trying to convince God or yourself?
No, I think you're gonna get us back on track,
Like,
right?
sir,
So
come
go
back
for it.
and wash your nasty ass hands. You know damn well you didn't handle some dry
Marcus.
ass skin.
So
Go
this
wash
is
your
off
damn
topic,
hands.
right? But here's the thing between us guys. So you know how girls are like super clean?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Have you been in their cars?
Most of us don't wash our hands after we go to the bathroom, after we go pee, right? How many times has a girl ever asked you to go wash your dick before she sucks your dick?
My girl does every time.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well,
That's
way to
important.
save your girl, bro. Way to save your girl.
I wish I was lying. I wish I was lying.
It was one of those things that crossed my mind the other day that I was like, wait, they're super clean all the time, but they never ask you to go take a shower or wash your dick before they suck your dick.
You know what's funny? I learned this. This is a trip, but maybe you guys have already learned this. You know, we're all men. We all get taught by usually our moms for the most part how to wash your hands. But it's funny. Most people will go to the bathroom, wash their hands, and then leave the restroom. Isn't that the order generally?
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
But so think about that. Let's say you're at Costco. We're at Marcus's place. I'm grabbing all these things, and I'm grabbing shit and grabbing cans of beer, whatever. And I'm shaking people's hands, whatever. Dirtier than hell. I go into the bathroom and put my dirty as hell hands all over my junk, and now that's dirty. And then I walk out, clean my hands. When I worked at Sears when I was like 16 years old. And he became a good close friend of mine. I've known him for 30 years. He's a Mexican guy. And he's like, bro, you just put your dirty hands all over your dick. And I said, what are you looking at me for? He said, bro, that's the dumbest thing. Why don't you wash your hands first? And after you touch it, it's already clean. You don't need to wash them again. So that's how I do it.
That's my point. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's
exactly.
Like if you wash your dick already in the morning when you take a shower.
Exactly.
And then you wash your hands before you go take a piss.
Exactly.
It would make more sense.
I'm sorry to say, bro, but your dick's not that clean that damn long. After a couple hours, remember, it's sitting between your legs, which is a warm area, which means you got sweat, dead skin, whatever the fuck else comes the fuck up off your skin. So eventually your dick becomes dirty again.
I told you, you got to clean that thing. So yours might be bad, but we're all
well, it's not my fault. My skin is brown.
It's so
I hit
it's
that
so
shit
cleaner.
with a washcloth. Oh shit, it's brown. Is it dirty or is it my skin? I just wiped off some milk.
This is definitely the episode's getting us thrown off of YouTube again.
Oh my
We've said that about almost every episode where we get a little out of control, but I don't see.
Hey, speaking of dicks, don't you have a Southwest Airlines story for us?
I do, and it involves dicks. So
yeah. So hold on. So I'm gonna skip this joke.
Yeah, just skip the joke, dude.
So,
all right, guys. So
dumbass of the week. Shut up. Let me introduce the segment first before you get into it, please.
That's what she said.
There you go. So, dumbass of the week. Southwest airline pilot pleads guilty to exposing himself during flights, including watching pornography and other lewd acts. Julio, take it away.
All right. So Southwest Airlines, they're doing such a great job with their PR lately.
We're
All right,
ripping
so
into them today, aren't we?
So, to
Cubic
be
relation.
clear, this is a former pilot. Pled guilty last Friday on federal charges of committing a lewd, indecent, and obscene act during the middle of a flight that he was commanding. So he was the captain of the plane. He was in charge of the flight.
He was like, "Hey, I'm the captain now."
He sure was, and not anymore.
Captain Savage.
He'll be lucky if he gets the Captain of Cessna after this. So August 10th of last year, between a flight from Philadelphia to Orlando, once he reached cruising altitude, Michael Heck, 60 years old from Florida, admitted to removing his clothes while in the cockpit and exposing himself to his female first officer.
Whole new meaning of the word cockpit.
I know.
Right?
What happened to the pornography?
Hold on. So that's the next part. He then proceeded to view pornographic material while in the cockpit on his company-issued laptop. I'm not making this up.
You wouldn't want to do it on your own laptop.
Hold on. He
Trace
didn't
history.
even use the incognito window.
Mm-mm.
I mean, come on, bro. That's what Google Chrome is for.
But even the incognito window, when you open that, it says it doesn't save you from your employers knowing that browsing history.
And it does. It gets
delete the tracking. Well,
it gets even worse.
I could have showed them how to keep that from, but still.
And this gets worse. I wish this would stop because I'm disgusted. As the plane continued in the flight,
It's hard to do.
He engaged in even more inappropriate conduct while in the cockpit, continuing to perform his duties in front of his first officer. So he's jerking and still flying the plane.
He definitely continued.
Hold on. So he jerked off in front of number one?
Yes, in front of number one. Patrick
He was
Stewart.
yelling, "Who's your boss, number 2?"
Ew.
According to his guilty plea, he had never met the first officer prior to the flight. Now, just from that sentence alone, that means other pilots have probably watched and known of him doing this.
It's like a damn club. I'm pretty sure they're sitting at the damn bar like, yeah, bro, so Max did it again.
Yeah, he can't control himself once he gets up in the air.
He did the cockpit backstroke.
Oh, God. So he's being sentenced to 1 year of probation. He's being ordered to pay a $5,000 fine. A Southwest spokesman.
You said we have video of this?
We do.
Let's play it. Like 22
I don't
seconds.
want to see the video of that one. That might be too much.
Not of that one.
Yeah, Southwest Airlines has said they pretty much removed him after finding out about the incident, and he hasn't flown since.
Didn't he quit? I thought he quit before that shit happened.
Yeah,
He's like Pee Wee Herman, bro. This is crazy. How would you like to be that guy? He's making about $2 billion a year, and for $5,000, he made that in 3 days, and that's all he gets.
Dude,
I heard Pornhub approached him for a deal.
Yeah, he could probably write one hell of a
Bank
script
Bros.
movie.
Captain Stabbin said no.
I'd be interested in having an interview with the girl. Like, so what was it like?
Yeah, that's gotta be awkward to watch, isn't it?
It had a lot of veins in it. It was very vascular.
She's like, are you talking about Senior Michael? He's like, he was struggling to find that thing for the first half of the flight.
Said you're a toy boat.
Prior to the flight.
To the index of other news tonight, and a former Southwest pilot has now been charged with indecent exposure. Federal authorities say the incident took place during the flight from Philadelphia to Orlando last August. Southwest says no passengers were aware of the situation, but some crew members were. The pilot quitting before the company knew about the allegations.
That's crazy.
Because I heard that shit will mess you up.
But just FYI, I'm on 14% battery, so I don't know how much longer we got. I may just have to. I'm gonna disappear.
We got one more. We got one more story, so let's go ahead and just move on. So, why can't you hear rabbits make love?
I don't know.
Because they got cotton balls.
Oh,
that's cute.
All right, last segment.
I'm sure Thumper would appreciate that.
Nah, in Thumper's case, it's his goddamn feet.
Oh man.
Sounds like a headboard hitting the wall.
All right.
All right, so the last story of the day, what are you doing? So in this one, we got a black DoorDash who was just trying to deliver some food. She gets stopped and accosted by a drunk white man. Basically just screamed at her the entire time, throwing racial slurs. In fact, someone heard it and came to, well, I'm not going to say came to her rescue, but she confronted the man for it. And he basically attacked her as well. Verbally, not physically. Otherwise, he probably would have got the brakes beaten off of him. Well, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
I got an AK-47 right now in my car. I'll blow your head off.
Okay, but first of all, you don't call. I don't give a. Don't call her names. You don't call her names because you're pissed. You don't call her names. You're a racist.
Yes, I am.
Right, well,
Yeah.
You know what? You go the back way. Hey. You want to get through this.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah. You.
You're a.
You're a.
You're
Yeah. Your mother and mother.
You know, you racist. Why don't you go the back way? Because we're not letting you through.
That's fine.
That's good.
Yeah,
you should be
that's good.
ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You. I'm tired of this country.
Call the police.
Hey.
Racist.
You and everybody that looks like you.
Okay. He's a racist and he's picking on this girl.
Who cares? Whoa! What are they gonna come arrest me?
Are you drunk, dude? Because you look like a fool.
Yeah, no.
You look like
you're drunk and you're on.
You look like a fool.
You're on pills and you're a fat pig. You're a fat pig.
And you're an ugly white.
Get the out of here. Hey, get the out of here. Get the out of here. I pay $1,000 a month here. You can't. You make $1,000 2 months. You.
How you know that?
You're a dumb black. You.
What's your name?
Yeah, and I'm racist, and I'm a racist.
Look.
I got an AK-47 right now in my car. I'll blow your head off.
Look.
I'm tired of you.
Holy shit.
You gotta be drunk as shit.
It's funny. Right before you clip, I heard the girl yelling something about, "Well, you're a white such and such," and he couldn't really hear it. And the whole world has gone just absolutely bonkers, man. I mean, I don't. It's bizarre. The whole thing. Just hear all that stuff.
I keep coming across these videos. I came across this on TikTok. In fact, almost every one of these viral videos I found on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, either this is fake or I got to find out the information. So I search it up, and bam, there it is. Like, did y'all see that video of that? I don't know if she was trans or she was just a regular girl, but she got knocked the hell out in like a damn store after she ran up on the dude.
Yeah.
So after I searched for like multiple different versions of the video, I ended up finding a clip with a little bit extra sex on what happened. So she just ran up on him and started throwing water. So he just basically hit her with the Mike Tyson right hook.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry to say, I don't condone hitting women, but she asked for it. You don't go up and assault people by throwing water at them. I don't know what the hell you think he was gonna do or whatever you thought was gonna happen.
What he said, bro. Honestly, I don't okay, so now that the pandemic is being lifted more and more around California, I see more and more I drive back and forth. So currently the last 2 weeks I've had time off work and going to pick up my wife during her lunch break and bringing her back. Even on that on-ramp, going to and from, I've seen more road rage incidents and more car accidents because of people not knowing how to act because they've been essentially, locked down for the last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's insane to me because we forgot how to treat each other. Exactly. We forgot how to treat each other. We forgot how to treat each other with any form of humanity.
Is
I
it
can
that,
see
insane.
or they've gotten to the point where now they're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be whoever the hell I'm gonna be,
But that's
regardless
the
of
problem. The problem is
consequences.
that if you're gonna be whoever the hell you're gonna be, it means you were that person to begin with.
Yeah.
But think about like who knows someone truly though.
I'm pretty sure the three of you guys know me very well.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, based off of all of our fucking shenanigans,
Well, we've known
fine.
you for 15
We
years.
know each other
Well,
quite
that's
well.
that's
We've
my
known you
There's
for
point.
still
Like,
some shit about each other we don't know.
Yeah, but when you were
No.
gone, they asked me, hey, do you think maybe he's a pilot?
yeah, exactly. I couldn't fly for shit. I couldn't fly for shit, but I will tell you that right now that was one of my dreams. So it was one of my dreams to become a pilot up until the fact that I found out that you couldn't be a pilot unless if you were colorblind.
Oh
Really?
shit.
Oh,
Right, you
Yeah.
are colorblind.
right.
Yeah, but as long as you're not a jacking pilot, then you're fine.
No. I'm a jacking pilot. Like I jack cars up all the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Hey,
they
that was the
just
first
don't do it while you
hijacking
land.
over 30 years
What?
in the U.S.
No, but like I'm not completely colorblind. I'm only partially colorblind. So when it comes to colorblindness, I'm one of the 1% of people with Spanish descent that have a form of colorblindness.
Oh.
So it's not all. It's
I've heard
exactly.
it's
So it's
more
not all black
common
and
in
gray.
guys than people think.
Well,
I
it's more
can't
common
see
in
I
males.
can't see dark green at night at all. Like I can't tell the
Yeah,
color.
so it's more common in males because the female chromosomes don't carry the blindness
Yeah,
genes.
that's what I've heard.
Mhm.
Blue
So
and
like for
gray seem
example,
the same to
when
me.
it comes to reds, right? Most males could see anywhere from 1 to 3 shades of red. Females could see from 1 to 5.
Wow, you're like a
Funny
doctor
thing
of
is,
colors.
the hardest
Uh,
color to register though is blue because the shades are similar.
Yeah, see, I struggle with blue and gray.
Like
so for me,
on
it's red.
Julio's wall, if he changed that just a smidge, you wouldn't be able to
He'd be
tell the difference.
faster.
Is purple?
Damn.
Jesus.
Got him.
Michael's getting
Got
into the
him.
roasting.
That's great.
No, but what is that color behind you, Julio?
I think it is a blue.
It's the dark blue that I
It's
that I
navy.
had
Was that
like
like
in
a
a water
navy?
bottle. I don't even know, dude. It was a water bottle that had like a matte blue finish.
It's
Is that
And I
usually
navy.
went to
Berkeley?
Kelly Moore. I took it to Kelly Moore paints and they matched it, and
That's not
that.
matte. That's semi gloss.
No, he said matched.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was about to say.
It's kind of a flat blue, but right now it's shiny because the light's reflecting off it.
Yeah, then it's not flat.
It's not shinier than your damn black refrigerator.
That's
Oh,
not a
his.
goddamn refrigerator.
I was about to say, yeah, mine is yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, most males are colorblind because our over an evolutionary standpoint, we developed to track motion more than we developed to track color. And opposite to where our females developed to track color more than developed to track motion because they were more inclined to pick, to be in charge of picking berries that were the most ripe.
Mine still pick berry. Just 2 though.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Oh damn, that was
Hey guys, I thank you for having me on the show tonight. I had fun.
Hey, bro,
Thank
I'm
you for
glad you had
coming
fun.
on.
Thank you for coming on.
Wrap it up. All right,
Absolutely.
let's go ahead and close this out.
All right.
So I went to the dentist a couple days ago, and I heard something that I probably should not have heard, but she basically said, "I'd rather go through the pain of childbirth again than let you drill in my mouth." So a couple seconds later, the dentist replied, "Well, please make up your mind so I can adjust the chair." And on that bombshell, let's go ahead and end the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Michael, thank you for joining us. We had one hell of a time. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. comment on this video. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram.
Oh, wait, Michael, do you have any social medias? Do you want us to like add into this?
I was about to get to that, asshole.
Sorry.
I'll just send it to you.
Well, Michael, he was about to get to your asshole. You should just drop your social media and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
There goes your YouTube account again.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll start another one.
What's that going to be canceled for? Bullying?
Oh, man.
Hazing?
And this is the birth of Inner Monolog 501.
Oh.
That's awesome.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Catch you guys later.
All right.